Live na ako, madam. Okay, good morning, everyone, and I welcome you all to this lecture video. The topic for this lecture is actually limits. Okay, so before, Happy New Year to all of you po. Okay, so without further ado, what I'm gonna do actually is to do demonstration on how to find the limits of uh, um, of a function as a certain variable approaches a certain number. Okay, so magde-demo ako how to solve for the limits of a function. Then as we go on, we try to understand or we try to define what is a limit. Okay, so okay, I have here 9 examples to demonstrate. Okay, so we have here number 1. Nababatian ba ako, ma'am? Okay, so we have here number 1. Okay, so we have here the limits of 3x plus 4 as x approaches to 1. Okay? So we are finding the limits of a function. Okay, the function here, the f of x is equal to 3x plus 4. So we're finding for the value of the limits of the function as x approaches to 1. Okay, so how do we find the limits? Okay, for this case, we can actually automatically substitute this number here. Oops. We can automatically substitute this number here. So this will be equal to this will be 3. You substitute the value of x, diba, nasaring as x approaches to 1. So you substitute 1 to x. So this will be times 1 plus 4. Then when you evaluate, this will be 3 plus 4, and this is equal to 7. So meaning the limit of 3x plus 4 as x approaches 1 is equal to 7. So this is the answer for number 1. Okay, yeah? Now, I want to reiterate this one because this is a common mistake. Now, when you substitute the number, this one, this here, when you substitute, excuse me, when you substitute this number here, dapat ang word nga limit waray na dili na mabibilngan didi on the right side of the equation, because sometimes the student will go on like this. The limit of 3x plus 1, say for example as x approaches to 1, then nagbubutang pahiradihin word nga limit, then sa kanira gin sa substitute an number nga 1 plus 1. So good. This is very wrong, ha. So magsubstitute ka na nga ni han number ngadtuhan x. The word limit should not be written anymore. Okay? So that's how you solve for the limit. Okay, so masahin lang, diba? Direct substitution lang. Okay. I have here another example. Let me put it upward. Okay, I have another example number 2. We have here the limit number 2. Oops. The limit of 2x. So the function here is 2x as x approaches to 2. Yan. So when you solve for the limit, you can use the direct substitution. You can directly substitute the value of x. The value of x of which the x approaches. Okay, so this will be 2 times 2. So this is equal to 4. Meaning, the limit of 2x as x approaches to 2 is equal to 4. So this is the answer for number 2. Okay, so that's how you solve. Let's have another example. Okay, now I only have 9 examples. So Okay, example number 3, we have here the limit of 1 over x minus 2 as x approaches to 2. Yan. So this is equal to 1 over, you substitute the value of x, this will be equal to 1 over 2 minus 2. So this will be equal to 1 over 0. Diba? 1 over 0. And 1 over 0, any number divided by 0 is undefined. Okay. Undefined. So undefined siya, meaning the limit of that function does not exist. Yan. The limit of the function does not exist. This is the answer. Okay. So that's how you solve for the limits. Okay, you can use the direct substitution, but let me reiterate this. Direct substitution is not always applicable. That's why we need to understand the definition of a limit. Okay, so the definition of a limit, it's actually okay, so limits is actually let me read my definition. It's actually the value of the function, meaning the value of the input, okay, as the value of x, or I'm sorry, it's actually the value of the function, meaning the output, as the value of x, or the input, is getting closer and closer to a certain number. Okay, again limit is the value of the function or the output as x approaches a certain number. So that's how you define a limit. Okay, and also limit exists. The limit only exists if and only if the value of the function as x approaches a certain number coming from the left and right are equal, meaning the left hand limit of the function and the right hand limit of the function are equal. Let me let me explain it to you. Let us use the same example, ang example number 2 and an example number 3. Okay, let me rewrite it here. Okay, let us use example number 2. Okay, so the function was 2x. So we are finding for the limit of 2x as x approaches to 2. Okay, so according kanina, the definition daw of the limit is it is the value of the function as x approaches a certain number, and it only exists if and only if the left hand limit and the right hand limit are equal. So ano ba yung left hand limit ngayon? Ano ba ito nga left hand limit and the right hand limit? Okay, kasi di ba, for example, so we are the value of x is approaching to 2. Okay, so the value of x is approaching to 2. So ano ba ang left hand limit na yan, di ba? On a number line, see, this is the number line. So say for example, this is number 2 and 3, to the left of 2 is 1, and so on and so forth. Okay, this is the number line. So when we say the left hand limit, okay, as x approaches to 2, kasi this is 2. When you say as x approaches to 2, it could approach from the left, or also it could approach from the right. So pwede an imo x naga-approach from the left, tipakadahan 2, or pwede gihap tipakadihan 2 coming from the right. Okay, so when we say the left hand limit is noted as the limit of the function 2x as x approaches to 2 coming from the left. Yan. The limit of 2x as x approaches to 2 coming from the left. Ano ba ang ibig sabihin nito nga 2 coming from the left? Oh, so when we construct the table of values, suppose we have a table of values here, x and y, or let us not use y. Let us use f of x, the value of the function. Yan. Okay, so coming from the left man, di ba? The limit of 2x as x approaches to 2 coming from the left. Ano ba nga mga number it na-approach it to coming from the left? Oh, for example, 1.99. Di ba? Tapos nag-approach man, 1.999. Parang nagtitik kahera niya to. It approaches 2 coming from the left of 2. 1.9999 and so on and so forth. Okay, now when you try to evaluate the values of this function as x when x is equal to x is equal to 1.99, x is equal to 1.999, you will see, okay, let me try to use the calculator first. Okay, so this will be 2x as x approaches to 1.99. The value is 3.98. So this is 3.98, diba? Now when the value of x is 1.999, the value of the function is 3.998, and I'm sure this is 3.9998. O magbutang ka pa nga didihin usa pa 1.9999 lima nga 9. This will be 3.99998. So if you continue this as x approaches to 2 coming from the left, you will eventually get this is equal to 4. Okay, meaning this means that ini nga 4, this 4 is the left hand limit of the function 2x. So we can say that the limit of 2x as x approaches to 2 coming from the left is equal to 4. So this is the left hand limit of the function. Take note nayakan kanina ang definition ng function. A function only exists if the left hand limit and the right hand limit are equal. So you need to let us solve first kung ano it nga right hand limit. Okay, so this time we have here the limit of 2x as x approaches to 2 coming from the right naman. Yan, coming from the right. So this is the right hand limit. Ano naman yung coming from the right? So we construct the table of values x and f of x. Okay, so ano ba nga mga values it na-approach ha 2 coming from the right of 2? Oh, so example, say 2.01. Oh, then we have 2.001. Okay, it approaches, it is getting ano ba English it herani getting it approaches to 2 coming from the right. So this ito sa naman 2.0001 and so on and so forth. So it approaches 2, but it approaches to coming from the right. Yan. Okay, so when you solve for the value of f of x, when x is equal to 2.01, the value is 4.02. Yan. Now when x is equal to 2.001, the value of x is the value of f of x is 4.002. So this is 4.0002. Butang ka pa nga rin sa 2.00001. This is 4.00002. Yan. So, if you continue the value of x, yung pangat i-continue nga table of values as x approaches getting nearer and nearer to 2 coming from the right, then eventually your value of f of x will approach 4. So this is equal to 4. So meaning the limit of 2x as x approaches 2 coming from the right is equal, oops, let me erase that one. Okay, is equal to 4. And this right here is what we call the right hand limit. Okay, now kita oops. And left hand limit is this one. Okay. And the right hand limit is this one. So meaning since the values of the left hand and the right hand limits are equal, that means that the limit of the function 2x when x approaches to 2 is indeed equal to 4. Diba? Nasolve na natin kanina. Aton example number 2. Hay nato. Yan hi. Nasolve natin kanina using the direct substitution para masolve natin. And aton answer kanina using the direct substitution is equal to 4. But again that's not always applicable. Okay, so you will see later kung kayano nga kailangan gyap niyo mabaruan kung paano ginsosolve it limits in mano-mano by not using the direct substitution. Okay, let us have another example. Okay, before we go to another example, let me reiterate this one. Okay, so for example, if you have a function, say for example you have a function f of x, and you are trying to find for the limit of that function as x approaches a certain number. Okay, the limit of this function, it only exists if and only if the limit of that function, take note as x approaches a coming from the left of a is equal, it's equal to the limit of that function as x approaches to a coming from the right. Okay, magpareho nga nit error value, then the value of this limit exists. Okay, let us have another example. Saan uba diri nag-i-exist it limit? Okay, we have here, let us use the example number 3. We have here the example number 3 and limit of 1 over x minus 2 as x approaches to 2. Okay. To solve for this, okay, let us solve for the left-hand limit first, meaning the limit of the function x minus 2 as x approaches to 2 coming from the left. Yan. Coming from the left. So you have to construct the table of values again. We have here the f of x, and the f of x. So coming from the left, mga values of x coming from the left are say 1.99, 1.999, 1.99. Yan. Then when you substitute the values of x and to solve for the value of f of x, so this is equal to, wait lang let me get my calculator. Okay, so when x is equal to 1.99, oops, wait lang. Okay, the value is negative 100. Ang laki. Negative 100. So when x is equal to 1.999, let me see, 1.999. Yan. The value is negative 1,000. Ang laki ng difference, diba? 1,000. Oops. When x is equal to 1.9999, the value is negative 10,000. So you see, when x increases, kung magtikada ko lang nga ito adto, when x increases without bound, okay, but it approaches to 2 ha, the values of your function, the values of f of x, also increases without bound. Ibig sabihin, magdidi na ko ulaan x, di ba? Diri yan nagko-converge. Unlike didi kangina, let us see it again. Kita ang valuehan imo kuan, ang imo valuehan an f of x when x approaches to 2 right here. Let me use, okay, as x approaches to 2, okay, the value your value for f of x approaches to 4. Didi kita daw it difference, hit yan hinga number, ngit yan hinga number, di ba? Diri dako it difference. Ibig sabihin nagko-converge ang valuehan f of x. It approaches 4. Okay, when you look at this example, oops. When you look at this example, your values for your f of x is it increases. Diba? Nag-i-increase siya, parang dako it iya increase from the previous. So ibig sabihin ini mag-a-approach imo pa nga ini pag pinadakuon nga number, this one right here. Pag pinadakuon nga number, di pa kadto, inihi nga number dinhi and value n f of x will eventually approach to negative infinity. Yan. So meaning your limit of 1, limit of the function 1x over x minus 2 as x approaches to 2 for coming from the left, this is equal to negative infinity, a very large number. Okay, so this is your value for the left hand limit. Okay, let us try to solve for the right hand limit. Okay, we're trying to prove na the limit only exists if and only if the value of the limit, the right hand limit and the left hand limit are equal. So let us try to solve for the left hand limit naman. Oops, let me erase that one. So when you solve the limit of 1 over x minus 2 as x approaches to 2 coming from the right naman, we are trying to solve for the limit of this function. So you have to construct the table of values x and f of x. Okay, so you have here, coming from the right naman, these are 2.01, okay, tikaguti approaching to 2.001, yan, 2.0001, and so on and so forth. Okay, now solving for the values of the function when x is equal to 2.01, your value for for the function is 100, and I think this is 1,000 and this is 10,000 positive, ha. So ini mag-increase pa nga ni ini di pa kadto approaching 2, ini gihap mag-i-increase ini hin ura-ura pa approaching positive infinity. So masaring ka di, therefore the limit of 1 over x minus 2 as x approaches to 2 coming from the right is equal to positive infinity, a very large number. So you see, let me put this in a box. So you see, the limit, the left hand limit and the right hand limit ini nga duduha are not equal. Adi nga usa negative infinity and adi nga usa positive infinity. Since they are not equal, i-rule out natin, the limit does not exist. The limit of the function does not exist. That's the answer. Yan. So sometimes kailangan you can solve for the limit just by direct substitution, but sometimes kailangan nimo mabaruan, may da kasi mga function nga when you direct substitute masosolve nimo ang limit only to find out nga mag-iba ngayon ang right hand limit and the left hand limit of that function. Okay, let us have another example. For example, ha, this is example number 4. So we have the limit of x squared minus 9 over x minus 3 as x approaches to 3. Sige lang. Okay, so we have here another example. Okay, di ba? Nasa kanina, you can use to solve for the limit, you can directly substitute. Okay, let us try direct substitution. So this is equal to 3 squared minus 9 over x. Sorry. Magsasubstitute na ngayon kita. So the value of x is 3 minus 3. So this will be equal to 9 minus 9 over 3 minus 3. So this is, okay ta, 0 naman it denominator. Basta 0 it denominator, bisan pa it, ano nga number dito numerator, it value niya undefined. Diba? Undefined. Undefined. So, ibig sabihin, undefined man, mayakan ka, the limit does not exist. Kasi ko, ay, na-overwhelm ka man kay the answer is undefined. Masaring ka dahil, the limit does not exist. Oh, remember, nayakan ako ha, the limit exists if the right hand limit and the left hand limit are equal. O, yung check naman, dida. Sige daw. Let us check the left hand limit. The limit of x squared minus 9 as x over x minus 3 as x approaches 3 coming from the left lanay. Coming from the left. Okay, so you have your x, the table of values, and f of x. So you have here coming from the left of 3, so this is 2.99, diba? 2.999 2.99 basta na-approach sa 3. Okay, yan. Okay, so let me write the equation. So this is x squared, I'm using my calculator, minus 9 over x minus 3. So when x is equal to 2.99, the value of your function, this is 5.99. And when you solve for this one, this is 5.999. And this is also 5.9999. Kung mo pa nagpatuloy, eventually, this will reach 6. Diba? It will reach 6. So, you can say, the limit of x squared minus 9 over x minus 3 as x approaches to 3 coming from the left hand limit is equal to 6. Okay ha? This is the left hand limit pa lang. Check mo pa ang right hand limit. Okay. Let's see. You have x and you have here the f of x. Right hand limit naman, so approach is 3 coming from the right, so this is 3.01 3.001 and 3.0001. Yan. So the values of the function, when x is equal to 3.01 is 6.01. So this is 6.01. This is 6.001. 6.0001. So yung panganing patuloy ngadto approaching 3. This is almost equal to 6. Oh, you see? Diba? The limit of x squared minus 9 as over x minus 3 as x approaches 3 coming from the right is equal to 6. Oh. Yan. Kanina, kitaan ta. Balik kita nga di kanina. Kanina, direct substitution, kung imo nga naging direct substitution, an imo result is undefined. Tas mayakan ka nga limit does not exist, but that's not the case because according to the definition of the limit is the value of the function as a certain variable approaches a certain number. In this case, as x approaches to 3. Okay, and also the limit of a function exists if the right hand limit and the left hand limit of that function are equal. Mag-equal man hera, di ba? This is the left hand limit, adi naman ang the right hand limit. Mag-equal man hera 6. So ibig sabihin, the limit of x squared minus 9 over x minus 3 as x approaches to 3 is equal to, let me wait lang. Oops. What happened? Let me erase this one. Let me rewrite it. Let me rewrite this one. The limit of x squared minus 9 over x minus 3 is equal to 6. Ibig sabihin, 6 here at answer. They're here undefined. Okay. Now, let us inspect this. Kaya ano man kanina nga nakakuha kita hin undefined nga value. Okay, let us try to understand why. This is limit of x squared minus 9 over x minus 3 as x approaches to 3. Okay. Kaya ano kanina nakakuha kita hin undefined. Then it turned out ngayon nga the value of the limit is equal to 6. This is the reason. Kasi it usa nga function na it nagiging undefined. It iya value kung gindi-divide nimo hin 0, di ba? If the denominator is 0, if the value of the denominator is 0, then automatic adto nga function magiging undefined. And it so happened that your x your x approaches 3. Tas amo ni substitute nga da nimo didihin nga x. So when you substitute that number to x here, then your value for that function will of course magiging undefined talaga. So that's the reason kung kaya naging undefined ka. So ano man it work around hini para diri naton makuha an undefined, para makuha talaga naton an iya limit. Okay, para diri na kita mag kinonstruct hin table of values. Nasugad ini ha. Okay, since tapos naman ka mo factoring, masayon na lain ha iyo. So this limit, okay, the limit of x squared minus 9 over x minus 3 as x approaches to 3 is equal to the limit of, ifa-factor natin an x squared minus 9. Difference of 2 squares, diba? Difference of 2 squares. So this is x minus 3 multiplied by x plus 3. Okay, imo nga ni ini i-multiply, this is equal to x squared minus 9. So technically, we did not change the value of the function because x minus 3 times x plus 3 is equal to x squared minus 9. Okay, of course, may daddy over x minus 3. And this is x approaches 3. And again, I want to reiterate ha, ginkukuha natin ang word nga limit kung nagsasubstitute na kita. Wari pa man kita pag-substitute didihin din nga function. Wari pa man kita dida pag-substitute on right side of the equation. Meaning, ang limit nga word, the word limit should be written pa. Okay. Now, let me erase this one. Okay. So, the next step, okay, may naman common factor, ang numerator nga yung denominator. So, makakancel ini nga x minus 3, tapos adigihap nga x minus 3. Ano mabibilin? This is equal to the limit of x plus 3 butang ko lang ha parenthesis, as x approaches to 3. Now this time, you can directly substitute. Kay kuan man lahiya, algebraic man lahiya. Okay, fraction nga ni rational ito niya. Fraction nga function, rational function ito niya. Okay, so ini from a rational function na reduce na to niya into an algebraic function. Polynomial function, I mean. Okay, rational function is also an algebraic function, right, madam? I'm sorry. So, na-reduce natin from rational function to polynomial function. So, this is, you can directly substitute na. So, this will be equal to 3 plus 3. Okay, substitute natin ang 3 nga da. That's why meron natin 3 plus 3. Yan. And this is equal to 6. See? Therefore, the limit of x squared minus 9 over x minus 3 is indeed, as x approaches to 3, is indeed equal to 6. Yan. So, that's the value of the limit. Masaya naman kamo, sir, pwede nga yan ito, kaya ano man magkukuha pa kita yung table of values, why do we need to learn pa kung paano ginsosolve using the table of values kung may da nga yan yung work around? Okay, kasi some functions example, ako next nga example, some function you cannot cancel out. May da kasi mga function nga diri rational, mga irrational function. When you are dealing with irrational function, diri ka makakapag-cancel out in common factor. Example. So we have here example number 5. The limit of the square root of 4 minus 2x as x approaches 2. Yan. Paano man ini? Kasi kung imo nga ni substitute, directly substitute, this will be the square root of 4 minus 2 times 2. This is equal to the square root of 4 minus 4. And this is, the square root of 0 is 0. So 0. So matayang ka, limit of the square root of 4 minus 2x as x approaches to 2 is 0. And this is actually wrong. Because, again nayakan ako, the limit only exists if and only if the right hand limit and the left hand limit are equal. So you have to check. Let me erase this one. Kay wrong man. Yan. Okay. So kuha naton. Okay. We have your x. Left hand limit lang muna ha. I have their f of x. The left hand limit as x approaches to 2. So this will be 1.99. This is 1.999. 1.9999. Okay. Actually, bisan dili na natin i-solve. Kaya ano? Kita Dili kita hit. Let us focus on this function right here. Yung square root of 4 minus 2x. Okay. If the value of your x is less than 2. If the value of your x is less than 2. Example, 1.99, 1.9999, 1.9999, basta dire equal to 2, less than 2. If your value of your x is less than 2, and value dinhan imo function will eventually have an imaginary number, imaginary value. Kasi for example, if your value is, for example lang 1.99, this is equal to the square root of 4 minus 2 times 1.99. Kung imo nga ni ini-evaluate, magkakamiada kahin imaginary nila. Let us try to evaluate. 4 minus 2, 1.99. Yan. 2 times 1.99 is 3.98. So this is equal to 4. Oh, I'm sorry. Mali ako. Dili ngayon magiging imaginary. I'm sorry. Okay, so this will be equal to, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. Okay, let me try to explain it again. Okay. Oo, tama. Mali ako. Kasi 4 man ang maximum ano. 4 minus 4 is 0. Tama, tama. Okay. Okay. So when the value of your x is less than 2, okay. Let us try to evaluate this one. Okay. So the value of your x when x is 1.99, the value of your function when x is equal to 1.99, let us try to solve. I will use my calculator. 4 minus 2x. Okay, when x is equal to 1.99, your value of your function is 0.1414. 0.1414. Okay, when your x is 1.999, 0.447, 0.40447. Okay, 1.99 naman, 1.9999. 1414. So this is 0.01414. So you see, imo pa nga rin pa igpatuloy, this year value here will eventually be equal to 0. This will eventually be equal to 0. Yan. So it will eventually be equal to 0. How about if your x approaches to 2 coming from the right? Your value of your f of x. Example, say 2.01, 2.001, 2.0001. Yan. Actually, you don't need to solve 9. Kaya ano? Kasi, if your value of your x is greater than 2, di may nanabo. Okay, you have here the square root of, let us try to inspect the function. Okay. Okay. Ang radicand, ibig sabihin the value of the radicand ini, the value of this one. Ang radicand, ato dito sulod, will be equal to 0 kung ang imo valuehan x is 2, di ba? So dumako nga ni anto, say for example, if imo gamiton nga x is koan, say for example 2.01, this is 4 minus 2 times 2.01. So this is equal to the square root of 4 minus 2. Let me try to 2.02. So this will be equal 4.02. Okay, so 4 minus 4.02, this is equal to the square root of negative 0.02. So the square root of a negative number, is an imaginary. So this function will yield an imaginary number. Start ko rin imaginary. Okay ha? So kanina, using the left hand limit is 0. 0. So kung right hand limit nga ni imaginary. So ibig sabihin, diri man equal ang left hand and the right hand limit, meaning the limit of this function does not exist. Okay, as opposed to the value of the limit kung imo lang nga ni direct substitute. Ay nanto. Ini. Imo nga ni direct substitute, makakakuha kahin value nga 0. Okay, but when you are dealing with a a rational function, you have to be very careful because sometimes, although makaka-find ka in certain number, it could be nga that number is not the limit of that function. So you have to you have to find for the right hand and the left hand limit of that function. Okay. Let us have another example. I have here four examples pa. Okay. Okay, example number 6. Okay, so we have here a function f of x is equal to 2x plus 5 we have here 3x squared plus 4 x cubed minus 4x plus 2. Okay, so may mo kung hindi. This is when x is less than 1. This is when x is greater than 1 but less than 3. And this one, this is where x is greater than or equal to 3. Yan. So, itawag iya is piecewise function. Okay, ang ipapabiling ha aton is the limit of that function. Take note how we are given with the function when x approaches 1. This is a very interesting example. So, may nakita hini. So, how do we solve? Okay, ha. Okay, to solve this one, kailangan lang natin ma-solve ang limit of the function as x approaches to 1 from the left. Okay. From the left. Okay. Makita ka ha? From the left, so ano ba to the left of 1? Okay, let us try to draw the Let me try let me try to draw a number line. So, adididit 51, 2, 3, 4. To the left of 1 is 0. So on and so forth. Okay. Okay. Coming from the left man kita ha, left hand limit. So, the limit of the function as x approaches to 1 coming from the left of 1. So, ano hain iton hiya diin? Okay, 1. Indin hinga region here. This is 1 kasi, di ba? Ini nga region here, amo iton iya ginayakan. Coming from the left approaches 1. So, this region here. So, mapakiana ka, since this is a piecewise function, which of the following function ini this one here, and here, hain ba dida hiton dida ang mga function it aton gagamiton when x approaches to 1 coming from the left coming from the left, hain dida aton gagamiton kikitaon nimo didian iya boundary condition. And yan hinga function, this one, the 2x plus 5, that function, you can only use that function when x is less than 1. Diba? Less than 1. So, ta gagamiton, diba? Kay nasa ring man, approaches to 1 daw, coming from the left. So, this is 1. So, that this region here. And this region here is all less than 1. So, ibig sabihin na ang gagamiton nga function is this function. Okay? So, this will be, okay, so, when x, mag-create ka table of values, and the value of 2x plus 5. Yan. Coming from the left, diba? So, this is 0.99, 0.999, 0.999, 302 ada, sir. Oh, sige, sir.
Wala kasi sir gamit sir ka ng mga bit 304 kay di ba doon what blackboard. Di ba kasi virtual like video. Dalag sa lang magsurat.
Let us try to... Okay, let me reset this one. Well, let us try to solve for the value of the function as x approaches to 1 coming from the left. So we have here 2x plus 5. So this is when x is equal to 0.99, your value is 6.98. This is 6.98. Okay, now when x is equal to 0.999, the value of your function is 6.998. This is 6.9998. And eventually, this will reach 7. Okay. Now, take note ha. Let me try to explain again kung kay anon aton gingamit is yan hinga 2x plus 5. This is a piecewise function kasi kay ano yan an aton gingamit. That is because an aton x, look here, an aton x here approaches 1 coming from the left. So, take note ha. Wait. Let me... ano na? This is 1. Right here. This is 1. Coming to the left of 1, ang mga number nga to the left of 1 are all less than 1, which coincides with this boundary condition, with this condition, x minus 1, x less than 1. X is less than 1. So, coming from the left of 1. So, that's why, since nasa-satisfy man niya yan hinga boundary condition, this boundary condition, anong gamit is yan hi. Kasi an ibang naman nga condition, we cannot use this one, we cannot use the 3x squared plus 4 because when x approaches to 1 coming from the left of 1 man, diba? So, it does na, diri hiya na-satisfy han boundary condition, han yan nga boundary condition. Okay? I hope you understand. Please ask question. You can write your questions in the comment section. Okay, so take note ha. The left-hand limit is 7. So let me write it here lang. This is equal to 7 so that I can erase ko ini here.
Problema nyo kung magkahalas, magkaulpo. Kaya una may halas ka dati nga general cleaning. Halas talaga mahal.
Let me try to erase. Oops. Okay. So this is the take note how this is the left hand limit. How about the right hand limit? So we have here the limit. Let me use block. The limit of the function, same function, as x approaches to 1, coming from the right naman. Okay, let us try to solve this. Okay. Of course, you have to draw, you have to construct the table of values. Okay. The question is, hain din hiya nga function natong gagamiton. Because we are dealing with a piecewise function kasi. We are dealing with a piecewise function. We don't know kung hain. So, kung kitaon ni mo an valuehan x. Nasang dili, x daw approaches to 1 coming from the right. So, hain ito nga region din hi. Okay, this is 1. This is 1 right here. Ibig sabihin, coming from the right, ini nga region nga di. Coming from the right. Diba? Yan. Coming from the right of 1 to the right of 1, I mean. So, this region right here. So, hayan man itong dida, it na atong gagamiton. Hain dida it na-satisfy hiton nga x coming from the right of 1. Okay. When you look at the function right here, look here, nayakan daw din ini. Nayakan didi, your x daw is greater than or equal to 1. Di ba? This one. Your x is greater than or equal to 1 but less than 3. So, kay greater than or excuse me.
Ako lang pagpa-general cleaning ito. Di ba iba nakaset? Haluag good, tas mali ka mo.
Okay, so ang atong gagamiton nga function is this function right here. Again, because it satisfy the condition. Kasi nakita as x approaches to 1 coming from the right. So, yan hindi din nga region. Okay, so ito nga x coming from the right, that is 1.01, 1.001, 1.0001, and so on and so forth. Okay. And atong gagamiton naman nga function is 3x squared plus 4. 3x squared plus 4. Okay, let me... Okay. Yan. 3x squared plus 4. Now, when we try to solve this one, this is 3x squared plus 4. Okay, this is when x is equal to 1.01. The value is 7.06. 7.06. Okay. When you try to solve for the function when x is equal to 1.001, this is 7.006 and this is 7.0006. Mo panganilig patuloy. What's that noise? Okay, mo panganilig patuloy. This will eventually reach 7. Okay? So, meaning, isulat ko dili ha, the limit of the function as x approaches to 1 coming from the right is also equal to 7. Okay, so, yan. And when you look at here, they are equal. So, meaning, the limit of the function exists, and that is equal to, and that is equal to 7. The limit of the function as x approaches 1 is equal to 7. Wait lang ha. Yan. So this is your answer. Okay? So that's how you answer. Kinikita nimo kung hain nga function tim gagamiton when you are dealing with a piecewise function. So piecewise function niya because parang many made up of many pieces of function. So made niya tutulong nga function din hi. Piecewise, piece like one piece, two piece, piece of paper. Piecewise. Shit spelling. Piecewise function. P-I-E-C-E wise function. Okay. Hindi kita hit let me have another example. This is example number 7. Okay. So, sometimes gihap nagsosolve kita hit limit of a function as wait. Okay. Okay, the next example, we're trying to solve for the limit of a certain function as x approaches infinity. So how about finding the limit of a function when x approaches infinity? So this is example number 7. We are solving for the limit of x cubed minus 2x plus 4 over 2x squared
Hindi ko siya kailangan daw sa
plus x minus 8 x approaches infinity. Yan. So this is our next example. The limit of x cubed minus 2x plus 4 all over 2x squared plus x minus 8 as x approaches to 8. So, to 8, I mean, as x approaches infinity. Approaches to 8. I'm sorry. Okay, so how do we solve for the limit of this type of function when x approaches infinity? Masahin lang ini. When x approaches infinity, before you substitute the infinity, make sure you have to divide first all terms in the numerator and the denominator by the term with the highest degree. By the highest degree term. Yan. So this is equal to the limit of, divide natin an x cubed. Okay, wait lang. When you look here, hinidin nga function, the highest degree term is x cubed, di ba? Adi man, x cubed man it highest degree term. So amo ito yung i-divide hatanan nga term. So this is the limit of magiging x cubed over x cubed. This is the mean division line. Minus 2x minus x cubed. Take note ha, tanan ni mo i-divide in x cubed. Kaya ano x cubed? Because x cubed ang highest degree term. Okay. Plus 4 over x cubed. So dito naman 2x squared over x cubed plus x over x cubed minus 8 over x cubed. Yan. Then as x approaches infinity. Now take note, wala ko pagingkuha ang word nga limit because wala pa kita mag-substitute. Hindi ko kuha lang natin at word nga limit kung nagsa-substitute na kita. Wala pa man kita pag-substitute.
Pero sir, mas damo na sa
Okay, so this is equal to the limit. Okay, so this x squared over x cubed over x cubed is 1 minus 2 over x squared plus 4 over x cubed.
Waray pa sir, kaya na nga semester ang yan ang current.
Oops. Wait lang. This is x over 1 over x squared pala. This is 1 over x squared
Plus sir, assumption
minus 8 over yan as x approaches infinity. Na yan na, mag-substitute na kita han x. Han infinity. Excuse me. So substitute na natin ang value han x, an infinity to the 2x. Okay. So this will be equal to 1 minus 2 over infinity squared, diba? And x squared, when x is infinity, this is infinity squared. Ibig sabihin, a very large number multiplied by another large number. Of course, the result is another large number. Diba? So, infinity squared is actually infinity lang ahaw. Plus, how much more kung cube? A very large number raised to 3. Siyempre, infinity lang ahaw ito. So, this is 2 over infinity plus 1 over infinity minus 8 over infinity. Okay. So, this is equal to 1. 2 over infinity. Any number divided by infinity is, of course, almost equal to 0. Any number divided by infinity is almost equal to 0. So, this is 0 plus 0 over 0 plus 0 minus 0. Yan. So this is equal to this is equal to 1 over 0. So this is undefined. Undefined one. So this is undefined. Undefined. So ibig sabihin, the limit does not exist. The limit does not exist. Okay? Now, when you are dealing this type of problem, an x as x approaches to infinity. Okay. When you are dealing with this type of problem, when x approaches to infinity or negative infinity or positive infinity, you cannot use the left hand limit and the right hand limit because ang right ang limit kasi nimo is infinity kasi. So you infinity, although may niya talaga left to the right of infinity is another infinity. To the left of infinity is another infinity. So you cannot actually use the principle of the right hand limit and the left hand limit. So this is how you do it when you are dealing with this type of problems. A function as
kay andamon bagsak before kang surferante. So nagdagdag an additional section for C215 alone. The rest of the subject is 2 4 2.
Okay. We have here example number 8. Example number 8. Okay, last two examples nakita.
So, dito ko na pinagabi. So, 4 lang talaga section and 7. 5 and third year.
Pwede yan, magiging overload na lang ito ng ikalima with second year.
Second year, mga siguro mga kuan na lang ito.
Positive infinity.
Mga irregular na subject.
Yan.
3 idot talaga.
The limit of the function as x approaches positive infinity. So how do we solve this? Masahin lang. Okay, so this is equal to the limit. Oh, take note ha, the highest degree term is 2x cubed. Pero 2x cubed. Pero imo i-divide ha iya an x cubed la. Never mind the 2. The numerical coefficient of the highest degree term. Okay, and variable lang. So this is the limit of, we have 5 over x cubed. Take note ha, x cubed ana akong i-divide because that's the highest degree term. 2x cubed over x cubed minus 1 over x cubed. This is when x approaches positive infinity. Okay, so this is equal to the limit 5 over x cubed over 2 1 over x cubed as x approaches positive infinity. Yan. Okay, yan. Okay, now this time pwede na kita mag-substitute. So this is 5 over of course infinity cube is another infinity. Diba?
Overload kita sir for sure.
Over
Era units.
2 minus 1 over infinity cube is of course 1 over infinity. Infinity cube kasi is infinity kasi, di ba? Okay. Infinity cube. This is equal to infinity times infinity times infinity. Kumbaga, nayakan ka, a large number multiplied by another large number multiplied by another large number is, of course, the result is a very much larger number. That's why infinity lang ako ito niya. Okay? Okay. So this is equal to, okay, 5 over infinity is 0 over 2 minus 1 over infinity is 0. So this is equal to 0 over 2. 0 over 2 is of course 0. So your limit,
Gusto mo, ma'am?
okay, hi, start with
Yun is yan na.
the limit of
Ito pa po ng fluid mechanics and hydraulics.
5 over
Overload
2x cubed minus 1 when x approaches to positive infinity. This is equal to 0.
Pwede ako sa preparation.
This is your answer. That's how you solve for
Sa daan, regular
example
flow.
number 8.
Bali 9 hours ang overload.
So, wari pa nagko-question. Okay, this is the last. We have here the last. The last example. Example number 9. This is the last example.
Transportation, kanimo Ma'am Dumas.
Okay, so you have here the limit of 2x squared plus 2 over x squared minus 1 as x approaches to negative infinity. Yan. Okay, let us try to solve this one. So this is equal to the limit of 2x squared over x squared. Again ha, divide natin ng x squared because x squared is the highest degree term. Plus 2 over x squared. All over x squared over x squared minus 1 over x squared. This is when x approaches negative infinity. Yan. So this is equal to, take note. So this is, hindi ko pa take note ha, hindi ko pa kuhaan limit nga word because hindi pa naman ako nagsasubstitute. So this is 2 plus 2 over x squared all over 1 minus 1 over x squared when x approaches negative infinity. So when you substitute this one, this is equal to 2 plus 2 over infinity, negative infinity squared. So negative infinity times negative infinity, it's a very large number, but since negative times negative is positive, magiging positive infinity. Diba? All over 1 minus 1 over infinity squared, negative infinity squared is of course 1 over infinity. Anyways, any number divided by a very large number is almost equal to 0. So this will be 2 plus 0 over 1 minus 0. So this is equal to over 1, that is 2. So this is your answer. Okay. So that's how you solve for the limits. So again, let me reiterate this one. Limit, let me write it here again. The definition of a limit. The limit is the value of the function, that means the output, as the value of x or any independent variable, as any independent variable approaches a certain number. Again, limit is the value of a function as x approaches a certain number. And the limit only exists if the left-hand limit and the right-hand limit are equal. You have to be very careful in finding for the limit, especially when you are dealing with irrational function and rational function. So rational function and ang mga radical function, and those with involves radicals, and of course the rational functions, those involves with fractions, mga fractional functions. Okay. So if you don't have any question, okay. So if you don't have any question, I will end my discussion, my demonstration here. And for those hanwaray makapagkita nga video, you can go back naman because this will be available after the discussion. Okay? And also, for my class, you can always ask questions ditohan group chat naton. Okay? Okay, sige. If you don't have any question na, okay, I will end my discussion here. Okay, thank you and God bless. I will send later the practice exercises. Isa-send ko ha iyo ha aton group chat. Okay? Thank you.
Drawing. Si